He returned home early. The door was unlocked. An unfamiliar man's shoes were in the hallway. His wife was upstairs, humming as if nothing had happened. Then he saw the wine, the forgotten sweatshirt, and the phone lit up with messages she never let him read. What he discovered next didn't just break his heart. It tore his family apart. And that was just the beginning. You won't believe who betrayed him the most. Last Sunday morning, I woke up to the sound of the coffee machine sputtering in the kitchen. My wife, Lena, was already up. She was humming something low and tuneless while cleaning the counter, dressed way too nicely for a lazy day at home. She said she was meeting her friend Dana for brunch. I nodded, still half asleep, and didn't think much of it. I should have. Lena and I have been married for 6 years. We don't have kids. We've talked about it, but she always said, let's enjoy life a little longer first. I never pushed. She's smart, ambitious, sarcastic as hell, and never backs down from an argument. I like that about her. Or I used to. Things started feeling off about 2 months ago. At first, it was small. She started locking her phone, which she never used to do. She'd step outside to take certain calls, saying it was work, then roll her eyes if I asked anything about it. But the weirdest part? She suddenly started acting nicer. Over the top nice. Cooking more, randomly bringing home gifts, grabbing my face out of nowhere and telling me I'm handsome. One night, I even caught her tearing up during a movie and grabbing my hand like she was clinging to me. It wasn't affection. It was guilt. I mentioned it to my brother, Mark, over drinks one night. He shrugged and said maybe Lena was just trying to reconnect. He told me not to overthink things. Be glad she's trying, he said, clinking his beer against mine. Lots of guys don't get that luxury. I believed him. Of course I did. He's my little brother. A week later, Lena was out again, working late. I was heating up leftovers when I noticed her laptop open on the couch. Lena never leaves her laptop open. She's paranoid about privacy. Always clears her tabs, logs out of everything. But there it was. Open. Unlocked. Like it was waiting for me. I didn't mean to snoop. I told myself I was just going to close it. But my hand moved on its own. The browser was open to Gmail. Not her main inbox. A different tab. One of those draft messages people use when they don't want to send real emails. It was blank, but the subject line said, Tuesday at the cabin? That stopped me. We don't own a cabin, but I know someone who does. Mark. I stared at the screen for maybe 30 seconds, then shut the laptop. I didn't check the rest. I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous husband digging for dirt that isn't there. Still, something about the way my chest tightened told me I hadn't imagined it. The next morning, I casually asked Lena what she was doing Tuesday. She looked up from her phone and said, Why? Just curious. Maybe we could do dinner. She hesitated, then smiled. I've got a late meeting, but I'll text you if I get out early. That was it. No awkwardness. No defensiveness. If she was lying, she was damn good at it. That night, I texted Mark. You still going to the cabin this week? He didn't reply for 3 hours. Then he said, Not sure yet. Why? I said I was just wondering if I could borrow some tools he keeps there. He replied the next morning, Yeah, sure. I'll drop the key off next weekend. No mention of going up himself. No questions. Just flat. By Thursday, Lena was back to her usual meetings. I didn't ask questions. I just watched. She didn't know I noticed she packed an overnight bag. Friday evening, Mark showed up like he said he would. We stood in the driveway talking about nothing for a few minutes. He looked tired. Not physically, just off. He handed me the key to the cabin, jingling it like it was nothing. Just make sure you lock up after. Critters get in if you don't. Got it, I said, trying to sound casual. You heading up there soon? He shook his head. Too much going on with work. Might be a few weeks. Then he paused, looked at me like he wanted to add something, but didn't. Instead, he just said, Let me know if you need anything, and got back in his car. Saturday morning, I drove up. The cabin's about an hour and a half out of town, hidden in the trees. No cell reception. It's a place Mark bought after his divorce last year. He called it his reboot spot. I'd only been there once, with him, last fall. Lena had never gone. Or so I thought. The driveway was empty. No tire tracks in the dirt. No signs anyone had been there. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and took a breath. Nothing unusual. Clean, but not too clean. There were 2 coffee mugs in the sink. A single toothbrush in the bathroom. The bed made, but slightly wrinkled. Normal stuff. Until I opened the fridge. Inside was a bottle of Lena's favorite wine. Not the generic kind. The exact kind. Imported. She keeps a bottle at home, says it's hard to find locally. I stared at the label for a long time. Then I checked the trash bin beside the kitchen counter. Mostly empty. A few receipts, wrappers, and tissues. Right on top was a crumpled napkin with a lipstick mark. The same burgundy shade Lena wore last Thursday night. I put the napkin down and stepped back. There was no smoking gun, no note, no underwear in the sheets. But it didn't matter. The feeling in my gut was louder than proof. Someone had been there with him, and everything pointed to her. I didn't sleep well that night. Sunday, I didn't say anything. Lena was back home, cheerful, making pancakes like nothing had happened. She asked me how my project was going. I mumbled something about needing more tools and went outside. That night, I did something I'm not proud of. I waited until she fell asleep, then quietly took her phone from the nightstand. I didn't try to unlock it. I just held it, staring at the black screen, wondering how many lies were inside that little glass rectangle. The next morning, I set it back without checking a thing. I couldn't do it. If she was lying to me, I wanted her to say it. I didn't want to find out through some text from Mark about how amazing she looked naked. By Tuesday, I was barely functioning at work. I left early, said I had a migraine, and drove straight to my parents' house. My mom let me in, surprised. I just needed a break, I said. Mark was there. He was in the garage helping Dad with the shelf. When he saw me, he smiled, like nothing was wrong, like the past few days hadn't happened. We talked, but it was shallow. Safe topics. Then I made a move. I said, I was at the cabin this weekend. Thanks for the key. He froze. Not long. Maybe half a second. But I saw it. Then he nodded. Hope it was peaceful. It's been a while since I've gone up. Yeah, I said. Saw the wine in the fridge. Thought it was Lena's. He looked right at me, no reaction. Nah. Must have been from when Dana visited. She drinks that stuff. I nodded, pretending to believe him. Except Dana lives in Arizona. She moved 6 months ago. Lena cried when she left. That night, I couldn't stop replaying the conversation with Mark. His voice had stayed flat, casual, too casual. But he was never good at lying. His tells were subtle. Avoiding eye contact for just a beat too long. Fake laughing at things that weren't funny. The way he fidgeted with his sleeve when he felt cornered. He did all three. I didn't sleep. The next morning, Lena was already dressed for work when I came into the kitchen. Hair curled, perfume strong. Too strong, like she was overcompensating. She kissed me on the cheek and said she had a packed day, then left without asking about mine. I didn't go to work. I sat on the couch for hours, phone in hand, trying to decide if I was crazy or if I'd just been too blind for too long. Around noon, I texted Dana. Hey, when's the last time you were in town? She replied 20 minutes later. Not since March. Why? Just curious. Missed you. I sent back. Ah, love you too. Tell Lena I said hi. I didn't reply. I went to the liquor store and bought a 6-pack. Then I drove to the overlook near the edge of town, parked facing the valley, and cracked a beer. My mind was spinning, running through a million scenarios. Was it just once? Was it still going? Did she regret it? Did she even care? By 5 p.m., I was buzzed and hungry. I stopped at a drive-thru and took my food home. Lena wasn't there yet. She texted at 5:46, running late. Big client meeting. Love you. I stared at the screen. No emoji. No photo. No punctuation. Just a perfect little lie dressed in business casual. At 6:40, she walked through the door. She looked freshly showered, which didn't match the story. Her hair was damp. Makeup reapplied. She smiled at me like nothing had changed and asked if I wanted to watch something. I said no. I had a headache. At midnight, while she was asleep beside me, I went out to the garage. I found the old toolbox Mark gave me a year ago for my birthday. It was still dusty, barely touched. But I remembered something. He said he'd stashed some good bourbon in the bottom drawer as a bonus. I opened it. No bourbon. Instead, tucked behind a rag, was a small envelope. Inside was a folded receipt. 2 nights at a cabin rental. Not his cabin, a rental near the lake, an hour in the other direction. The name on the reservation? Mark Andrews. +1. Dated 2 weeks ago. I stared at it for a long time. Not because I didn't believe it, but because it was so stupid. Why would he hide it in my house? Why not throw it away? Burn it? Unless he forgot. Or wanted me to find it. Either way, I had something physical now. It wasn't Lena's name. But I knew. I just knew. The next day, I waited until she left for work, then called in sick. I needed someone to talk to. Someone who wouldn't sugarcoat it. I drove to my buddy Nate's place, the one friend I had who didn't know Lena well. I laid it out, everything. The weird behavior, the locked phone, the wine at the cabin, the receipt, even Mark's deadpan lies. He didn't blink. Dude, they're banging. I said nothing. Or at the very least, something's happened. It's too much smoke. Way too much. I nodded slowly. I'm not going to confront them yet. Not until I'm sure. He stared at me. You want to be sure? Then set a trap. I didn't even want to say yes. The word trap made me feel like some bitter soap opera husband. But Nate was right. If I wanted answers without a screaming match or some pathetic denial, I needed to corner them with something they couldn't talk their way out of. I'm not putting cameras anywhere, I said. That's not what this is. Good, Nate replied. You don't need tech. Just pressure. So we made a plan. Step 1. Let them think I'm not suspicious. Step 2. Create a situation that forces one or both of them into a reaction. Something small, subtle, something only they would notice. That weekend, Lena suggested we visit her parents. I told her I couldn't, said work had piled up. She didn't push. In fact, she left early Saturday morning without even checking if I'd be okay alone. That was fine. I had work to do. I called Mark. Hey, thinking of heading to the cabin next weekend, I said. You mind if I take Lena up with me? She's been stressed. There was a pause. No. Go ahead. You sure? If you were planning to go up there with someone. Nope. Not going. Knock yourself out. His voice cracked slightly. I almost smiled. Sunday night, Lena came home around 8 p.m. and dropped her bag in the hallway like she always did. She came over, kissed me on the forehead. Her breath smelled like wine. Not strong, just enough. I missed you, she said. Same, I lied. That night, I took her phone while she was in the shower. I didn't try to unlock it. Just check the weight. She always deletes texts and clears her tabs, but the phone felt warmer than usual, like it had been charging all day. Like it had been used all day. By Monday morning, I was mentally somewhere else. I went through the motions at work, but couldn't focus. I wanted to confront Mark. Punch him. Demand the truth. But I didn't. Instead, I tested something. I texted Lena around noon, thinking of hitting the cabin Friday. Want to come? She replied 15 minutes later. Ugh, wish I could. Super busy week. Maybe the next one? But that night, she came home and said, you should go up this weekend. Get some air. It'll be good for you. I nodded slowly. Sure. Maybe Mark can join me. She froze for half a second. Isn't he working? Yeah. I'll ask anyway. I didn't ask him. I didn't need to. Thursday night, I packed a small bag and drove up to the cabin. I left early, around 6 p.m., knowing full well that if they had something planned, they'd wait until I was safely out of town. I stayed at a motel 20 minutes from our house. I didn't check out until late Saturday morning. At 2:30 p.m., I quietly parked a block away and walked home. The street was dead silent. I took the long way around through the back alley and climbed the fence into our yard. No car in the driveway. The garage was closed. I unlocked the back door and stepped into the kitchen. It was quiet. The place smelled faintly like cologne. Not mine. The guest bathroom light was on. I moved down the hall, slowly, listening. No voices. No movement. Then I saw it. Mark's hoodie on the couch. Dark blue. Zip up. The one he always wears. He'd left it here. My blood went cold. I didn't call out. I didn't make a sound. I walked back to the kitchen, sat down, and waited. 10 minutes later, I heard the front door open. Lena stepped in. Alone. She froze when she saw me. Oh, she said. You're home early? She didn't even try to hide the surprise. Her face went pale for a second, then snapped back into that fake calm expression she used during arguments. I thought you were staying at the cabin? I shrugged. Got bored. Drove back this morning. She stood still. Her eyes flicked to the kitchen counter where her phone was charging. You should have told me. Figured I'd surprise you. Silence. Then I stood up, walked into the living room, and pointed at the hoodie on the couch. You said Mark wasn't coming by. She hesitated. He just stopped in to drop off something. Oh yeah? What? He brought me some papers for the insurance thing. I was going to tell you. What insurance thing? She blinked. The home one. The renewal. I emailed you about it. You mean the one we did online last month? Silence again. I stepped closer. Why'd he leave his hoodie? She tried to shrug it off. He forgot it. He barely stayed 5 minutes. I picked up the hoodie and tossed it to her. Here, you can give it back to him next time he stops by. She caught it, but didn't say anything. Then, like flipping a switch, she smiled. You're acting weird. Are you okay? Am I okay? Yeah. You're giving off this vibe, like you're mad at me for something. I stared at her. She was really going to do this. Lie straight to my face in my own house like I was a fool. Lena, I said slowly, why don't we stop playing games? Her smile faltered. What are you talking about? I'm talking about you and Mark. She didn't respond. Just looked at me like she was trying to figure out what I knew and what I didn't. Tell me the truth. Now. She scoffed. Oh my God. Is this what this is about? Do you really believe I'm secretly seeing your brother? I don't think. I know. Based on what? A hoodie? You're being paranoid. I stepped forward. I went to the cabin last weekend. Her eyes widened. There was wine in the fridge. Your brand. 2 mugs in the sink. A napkin with your lipstick. And I found a receipt. 2 nights at a lake rental. Under his name. She didn't speak. Do you want to keep lying? Or do you want to save what little respect I have left for you? She stared at me, mouth slightly open. Then she laughed. Short. Bitter. So what? You're stalking me now. No. I'm finally paying attention. Then came the breakdown. She dropped the hoodie, sat on the couch, buried her face in her hands, and mumbled, it wasn't supposed to happen like this. I stood there, waiting. She looked up at me, eyes wet. It was just a mistake. One time. Stop. Okay, twice. But that's it. It was during that rough patch we had. You were so distant, and Mark. He listened. I clenched my jaw. He was going through stuff too. We weren't thinking straight. You still talk to him? She didn't answer. I walked to the door. I'm going out. I'll be back tonight. When I get back, I want one of 2 things, the truth or your things packed. I opened the door. She stood up. Please, don't tell your parents. I stopped cold. Now don't leave me. Now don't hate me. Just don't tell your parents. That told me everything. I didn't go far. Just drove around aimlessly for hours, replaying the conversation over and over. Her voice, the pauses, the deflections, the way she shifted blame like she was the victim. By the time I pulled into Nate's driveway, it was almost dark. He opened the door, took one look at me, and said, it happened, didn't it? I nodded. She admitted it. He handed me a beer and led me to the garage where we could talk without ears on us. I told him everything. The cabin, the receipts, the confrontation, her half-assed confession. Nate leaned against the workbench and shook his head. You going to tell Mark you know? No, I said. I'm going to give him a chance to do it himself. How? Tomorrow. I'll invite him out. One-on-one. I'll give him every opportunity to come clean. And if he doesn't, then I'm done with him. The next morning, I texted Mark. Want to grab lunch tomorrow? Just us. Got something on my mind. He replied within minutes. Sure. You okay? I didn't answer. We met at a bar near his place. Quiet, mid-afternoon crowd. I ordered a burger. He got a sandwich and a beer. For the first 10 minutes, it was small talk. Work, traffic, football. Then I put my fork down and looked him in the eye. I went to the cabin last weekend. He froze with the beer halfway to his mouth. I found the wine, the mugs, the lipstick napkin, the receipt from the lake rental. His jaw tightened. Slowly, he set his beer down. Don't lie, Mark. Not here. He sighed. It's not what you think. Then what is it? He rubbed his face, suddenly looking exhausted. It was a mistake. I said nothing. I didn't plan it. It just happened. She was upset. I was drinking. I thought. He stopped. Look, I feel like shit, okay? You should. It was once. Don't lie to me. Okay. Twice. But it's over. It's been over for a while. I leaned forward. You were in my house 2 days ago. He went quiet again. Don't insult me, Mark. I saw your hoodie. She slipped up. That's why I came home early. He looked down. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're just caught. He didn't argue. You could have told me. You had 100 chances. You're my brother. I didn't want to ruin everything. You already did. He sat back, staring at the wall. So what now? I don't know, I said. But don't come to the house again. Don't talk to her. Don't try to fix this. You're going to leave her? I don't know yet. He nodded slowly, then said something I didn't expect. You always had everything, man. What? Your job, your house, the marriage. Everything just worked for you. I stared at him. That why you fucked my wife? To even the score? No. I'm just saying. It's hard watching someone have the life you wanted and screw it up. I stood up. You think I screwed it up? She was lonely, man. You were cold for months. You shut her out. I laughed. So that's your excuse? It's not an excuse. No, Mark. It's a confession. I threw cash on the table and walked out without another word. I got home around 5 p.m. Lena was sitting on the porch, staring at her phone. When she saw me, she stood up fast, eyes red, hair tied back like she'd been pulling at it. I thought you weren't coming back tonight. I changed my mind. She stepped aside to let me pass, but I didn't go in. I stayed on the porch. Mark confessed. Her face twitched. Not shock, not fear, just confirmation. Did he say what I think he said? She asked quietly. He told me it was twice. I know it was more. She looked away. How long? A beat passed. Then she whispered, 3 months. I nodded. So every time I thought I was crazy, I was right. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're just sorry I caught you. Her voice cracked. I didn't mean for it to go that far. You let him into our house. I know. You let him into the place that was ours. Silence. I stepped back. Unbelievable. It only happened once here, she blurted. It felt wrong. We didn't do it again here. Oh, so you kept it classy. What was it? Just the cabin, the motel, or some time in his car? Stop. You don't get to tell me when to stop. Then she got angry, really angry. You shut me out for months. You acted like I didn't exist. You made me feel invisible. Is that why you turned to my brother? I made a mistake. No, Lena. You made a series of choices. Every text, every lie, every time you snuck off, you chose this. She grabbed the railing like she was going to collapse. I didn't know how to stop. You could have started by not starting. We stood there for a long moment, neither of us moving. Finally, she asked, so what now? You pack your shit. You leave. Her face fell. Just like that. You think you deserve more? Tears welled up. Where am I supposed to go? Call Dana. Or Mark. I don't care. Mark's not answering me. Not my problem. She stepped forward. Please, just let me stay here a few days. I'll sleep on the couch. I'll stay out of your way. No. Please. I don't trust you in this house. Not anymore. She froze, then whispered, You're serious. I didn't answer. I walked back inside and shut the door behind me. 15 minutes later, I heard her car pull out of the driveway. She didn't take anything. No suitcase. No bags. Nothing. By Sunday morning, she still hadn't come back. No calls. No texts. I didn't ask where she went. I didn't care. The silence was louder than any apology she could have faked. Around noon, my mom called. We need to talk, she said immediately. Is it true? I froze. Who told you? Mark came over last night. Drunk. Said he ruined your marriage. Of course he did. What did he say exactly? That he and Lena, that he made a mistake. That he didn't think it would blow up like this. And that you're not speaking to him. I didn't respond. Is it true? She asked again, her voice breaking. Yes. There was silence on the other end. Then she whispered, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Just don't try to fix it. She sniffled. He's your brother. Not anymore. I hung up. An hour later, Mark texted me. I didn't mean to drag Mom into it. I just lost it. I blocked his number. That night, I sat on the edge of the bed, our bed, and stared at the blank TV screen. For the first time in days, I felt nothing. Not rage. Not grief. Just a void. I walked through the house slowly, touching the things we bought together. The rug she picked. The dishes I carried in from the car. The framed picture on the bookshelf from our trip to Boston. Everything in this house had her fingerprints on it. And all of it felt like a lie. Monday morning, I called in sick again. Then I called a lawyer. We met that afternoon. She was blunt, professional, didn't flinch when I told her why I was there. On paper, it changes nothing. But if you want to file first, you should do it now. I signed the papers. That evening, I packed her things. Every drawer. Every closet. I bagged it all, boxed what needed boxing, and labeled everything. Then I texted her. Your things are packed. Come get them by Friday. After that, they go in the garage. She replied almost instantly. Can we talk? Please. I didn't answer. 3 hours later, headlights hit the driveway. I didn't go outside. I just watched from the living room window as she got out, stood by the front door, hesitated, then walked to the garage. I'd already left the bags in there. She stayed for 20 minutes. Didn't knock. Didn't try to come in. just loaded everything into her trunk, slowly, then sat behind the wheel for a while before finally driving off. It was done, or so I thought. The next morning, my boss called me in. HR wanted to speak with me. When I walked into the office, the HR rep handed me a letter. Someone, anonymously, had reported that I'd been emotionally unstable and created a hostile environment. Bullshit. But I knew where it came from. Mark. He worked in the same industry. Same contacts. Same associations. He couldn't ruin me directly, but he could start a smear campaign. Subtle. Indirect. Just enough to make my job uncomfortable. He wanted revenge for being cut out. I smiled at the HR rep, signed the letter acknowledging the incident, and walked out without a word. By lunch, I cleared my desk. I didn't rage. Didn't scream. I just drove home, hands steady on the wheel, mind clear for the first time in weeks. Mark wanted to play dirty? Fine. That night, I opened a shared cloud drive we used as a family. Stupid little thing we started a few years ago. Pictures from vacations, holidays, old videos. He never removed my access. He forgot, or maybe he thought I never used it. I uploaded everything. The receipt from the cabin. Screenshots of texts between Lena and me. The photo of the wine bottle. A voice memo I'd secretly recorded when Lena admitted it was more than just twice. All of it, neatly organized in a folder labeled Truth. Then I sent the link to our family group chat with one sentence. I won't defend myself. These speak for themselves. I muted the thread. Deleted the app. By morning, my phone had 37 missed calls. Mostly from my parents, 2 from Mark, 1 from Lena. I ignored them all. Instead, I drove out to an attorney's office, a different one. A real bulldog this time. We discussed everything. The timeline. My job. Potential defamation. I told him about the HR stunt, and he didn't blink. You want to sue your brother? He asked. I nodded. And her too. He smiled like he just opened a bottle of wine. Let's do it. The next 3 weeks were chaos. Mark's name started showing up in quiet industry circles. A few people called me, friends, colleagues, asking what the hell was going on. I didn't say much. Just told them to talk to him. Word spread. Lena, meanwhile, tried to contact me 3 more times. She left a voicemail once, sobbing. Said she was sorry. Said she loved me. Said Mark meant nothing. I deleted it. I was numb now. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't even sad. Just clean. Like I'd scrubbed my life raw and didn't care what skin came off in the process. Then came the final blow. I got a call from my mom. I picked up, more curious than anything. She was crying. Mark's wife found out. I sat down slowly. She saw the cloud folder. I don't know how. One of your cousins probably forwarded it. She left him? I asked. Yep. Took the kids. Filed for divorce. Moved in with her sister. I didn't say anything. She blames you. That got a laugh out of me. Of course she does. My mom's voice went flat. And so does your father. I nodded. Tell him I said hi. I just wanted you to know, she said. In case he comes around looking to talk. He shouldn't. Then she said the one thing I didn't expect. You were right. About him. About everything. I didn't reply. He was always jealous of you, she continued. Even when you were little. I thought he'd grow out of it. Guess not. We hung up. No goodbye. That night, I slept harder than I had in months. It's been over 5 weeks since Lena moved out. Since I filed the lawsuit against both her and Mark. 2 since Mark's wife packed up the kids and left him without warning, moving in with her sister 3 states away. She hasn't responded to any of his calls or texts. I know this because Mark, in one last desperate move, emailed me through a burner account, asking if I could talk to her for him. I didn't respond. The silence in the house used to feel oppressive. Now it feels like armor. The first few days after she left were the hardest. Not because I missed her, I didn't. Not really. But because the routines, the background noise of 2 lives entangled, were suddenly gone. The toothbrush she left behind. Her hair ties on the bathroom sink. Her perfume clinging to the hallway carpet like a ghost I couldn't vacuum away. Last weekend, I got rid of it all. The bed? Gone. Mattress, frame, sheets, pillows, all of it donated. I sold the dining table we picked out together and replaced it with a cheap fold-out I bought online. I boxed every photograph of us, every gift she gave me, every little cute couple knick-knack she littered around the house. I didn't burn it. I didn't rage. I just removed it. Like rot. That same afternoon, around 4 p.m., Lena showed up. She knocked once, soft, almost shy. I opened the door. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were puffy, makeup clinging to the remnants of last night's face. She was wearing a hoodie I didn't recognize, probably not hers. I signed the papers, she said, holding out a manila folder. I took it, didn't say anything, didn't open it, just held it in one hand and stared. I'm not here to beg, she added quickly. I know there's nothing left. I needed to say it in person. What? That I ruined everything. That you were good to me. That I didn't deserve you. She blinked hard. I know I really screwed things up. And I know saying sorry doesn't mean anything now. But I wanted to say it. I leaned against the doorframe. Why now? She looked down. Because no one else will talk to me. Because Mark won't return my calls. Because my parents know. Because the last 5 years of my life feel like they vanished overnight, and I don't even know who I am anymore. I didn't say anything. I don't expect forgiveness, she said. And I'm not asking for a second chance. I want you to know that I know I was wrong. All of it. I nodded once. You were. She looked up again, her eyes pleading. You were right not to let me stay that night. You were right to pack my stuff. You were right about everything. Yeah, I said. I was. She stood there a moment longer, like she was waiting for me to crack. Like maybe, if she just stood there long enough, I'd offer her something. Sympathy, closure, anything. But I didn't. And then, finally, she turned and walked back down the steps. No dramatic exit. No parting words. She got into her car and drove off without looking back. I went inside, locked the door, and opened the folder. Everything was there. The signed divorce papers. The agreement to waive claims on the house. The separation of finances. The acknowledgement of infidelity and breach of marital trust. My lawyer had drawn it up to be airtight. She didn't contest a single line. The next morning, my attorney confirmed that the papers were being processed. In 30 days, I'd be legally free. That night, I opened a bottle of whiskey and sat out back under the porch light, just listening to the wind. No TV, no phone, just the kind of silence that doesn't demand anything from you. At some point, around midnight, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Mark. You won. Happy now? I stared at it for a while. Then I deleted the message. Blocked the number. Because this wasn't about winning. It was about ending. No revenge monologue. No final showdown. Just quiet, total removal. The cleanest cut I could make. Mark was gone. Lena was gone. My old life. Gone. And you know what? I'm okay with that. For the first time in years, my future isn't shared, compromised, or conditional. It's mine. Just mine. If you've read this far, and you ever find yourself standing in front of two people you trusted more than anyone, and they lie, and they betray you, and they dare to look surprised when you walk away, don't scream. Don't swing. Don't give them what they want. Just leave. Quietly. Permanently. Shut the door behind you. And lock it.